the narcissistic work colleague or boss. The narcissist in your life, as most of you might already know, can be anyone from a parent to a partner, a friend to a work colleague, a boss to a sibling, neighbour, or even your own children. Some toddlers and teenagers do have traits, so if yours is showing them, it doesn't always mean they are. So how do you know a work colleague or a boss is a narcissist? How do you handle them? And with them being a boss or a work colleague, and with them being possibly anyone in your life, this means that places you eat, shop, stay, visit could have narcissistic people in there. And as we become more aware and more tuned into our instincts, we can often spot them rather fast. A narcissistic boss or work colleague can make work life extremely difficult, and for the most part you have to work around them. If they are extreme and your employer doesn't take action, you might need to consider looking for a new job. I'm Elizabeth Shaw. Welcome to the channel, which is all about the narcissistic personality disorder, to give you more understanding of what you've been through, those people you might be dealing with, how to disarm them, how to go no contact, and ways to recover from narcissistic abuse. Thank you very much for all the returning subscribers. If you are new to the channel, please take a moment to subscribe and hit the bell if you want notifications. Videos are released weekly. Add anything in the comments that you believe is a sign that you've noticed or something that's helped you through this, because you never know who's reading those comments that it might help. So, a few signs of a narcissistic boss. 1, bosses will expect recognition for themselves when things go well, even if they didn't do the things that went well. 2, they will blame all others and dodge any responsibility when things go wrong. 3, they will have favourites and will change these depending on who's the most useful to them at that time. 4, they will take over meetings and conversations, always trying to get the last word in. 5, they cause conflict between people, play people off against each other, the divide and conquer. 6, they make unreasonable demands or change the game at the last minute, often not letting others know to create confusion. 7, they keep promising new job opportunities, pay rises, promotions, yet always fail to deliver. Signs are similar to most narcissistic people, as they have a disorder. It is who they are and it's what they do. So here's a few things of what they will do. Number 1, idolization. When you first start a new job or they first start, they might seem like really nice people that really want to get to know you. They might want to socialise outside of work with you. They might want your help in learning about the job. They might flatter you. Then the next minute, for what you can find no reason, they hate you. Narcissists, due to cognitive distortions, they only see in black and white. So they either love people in their own way, or they hate people. There is no compromise, there is no grey area, there is no middle ground. They might just walk into the job, or you might, and they are envious of you from day one and seek to take you down, or they might try to make friends with you. They most often will start their triangulation games to divide and conquer, smear your name and destroy you in the workplace at some point. I'll add the link to triangulation in the description for more information on this. So with a work colleague or a boss, you might never be idolised. However, you most often will always be devalued at some point and eventually discarded. When you're not doing exactly what they want, when they want, they will most often begin to devalue you in front of others. So a boss could raise you so high in front of others with constant flattery and attention to how good you are at your job, which, when narcissists are involved, often leads to employees falling out. Then when they have you isolated from your co-workers, They will have you where they want you, so when they begin to devalue you and discard you, you have no one to support you. How to disarm. Best advice is to try and avoid them. Not always possible, depending on your boss, the size of your workplace, when it comes to avoiding colleagues. So when they are playing nice, enjoy it and play nice back, but tread carefully. They usually only ever play nice because they want something from you. And as soon as you say no, they will throw almighty tantrums. When they do, ignore and ignore some more. If it's extreme, then it's a case of looking for a new job. 2, they will do their personal best to take all the credit for the work that you have done. Narcissists are thieves, and they believe they can take whatever they want, whenever they want, to pass off as their own, as they are self-entitled, arrogant, and they do not care for who they walk over to get their own needs met. How to disarm. If you can ask them about something, about what's happened in front of a boss, if it's a colleague, or in front of other colleagues, if it's the boss, as they most likely will not know the full details to your idea to be able to explain, and then you can step in and explain. Keep a record of your work. Also, if it's a colleague, don't tell people who you believe are enablers what your new ideas are. Number 3, as they believe they are above all others and feel entitled, they often enjoy talking about themselves and exaggerating or making up all accomplishments, or lying about things that they've achieved. They love to brag and get attention. Now, good people also do like to talk about themselves and things they've done, but it's usually a two-way conversation, not just the narc way. So pay attention to whatever their words are and see if they match their actions and achievements. How to disarm. Leave them to it. Don't buy into it. And if others want to, let them listen and learn. You go about your job and your life and let them do what they do. Number 4, intimidation. They might yell, name call, project, gossip, silent treatment, play people off against each other, threaten to make life as difficult as they possibly can for you. How to disarm. Retreat and don't react. Take notes, keep records, document with dates, witnesses, and take it to the boss or senior management. If it is the boss, take it to whoever you need to until you can get the help and support that you need. For smaller companies, you might just have to face the fear and walk away to start an incredible new job for you. 5, insensitive to others' needs. You can get this again with a boss or a colleague. You get this with all narcissists. They are insensitive because they are lacking in the empathy. They have no thoughts to the needs of those around them. If you're overworked, underpaid, stressed, family issues, or ill, to them, it is not their problem. They will offer no help or support. They will just want to take more from you. Unless you're in the idolization stage, which they are usually doing to play you off against other work colleagues or to get something from you before they'll drop you again. How to disarm. Don't tell them things that they don't need to know. They are not interested and will only use them against you. If you're too ill to work, then call in sick, hold the phone away from your ear whilst they moan, then thank them when they've done and hang up. Relax, rest up and get better. Number 6, use you for their own gains. A narcissist, they are all self-entitled and they all exploit people in some way or another. They do use people, so they might want you to go above and beyond for them. So they'll want you to do things for them that are above and beyond the job description, or more than you'd normally do for a work colleague. A work colleague or a boss might want you to run personal errands. There'll be, if it's the boss, or a work colleague, there'll be no give and take. If it's the boss, there'll be no extra pay or acknowledgement. Any praise will be given in front of others to make those feel envious and work harder and do more to please them. Now, some bosses or work colleagues might ask for these things, and it will be genuine. They are genuine people that are asking for favours. And if you were to ask them for something, they would most likely do it for you also. A colleague might ask continually to borrow money from you, rarely to never paying you back. They might ask you to go to their home to help lift something or fix something. They might always need a lift from you to and from work. And if you say no for whatever reason, you cannot help out on that day, you will most often get the silent treatment. If you say yes, they'll just ask more and more and more, never really showing any form of gratitude and always just using you more and more to meet their own needs. They don't care if you have to go out of your way for them on a continued basis. All they care for is that their needs are being met at that time. How to disarm. If it's not in your contract and your boss is asking you to do something and you feel uncomfortable doing so, then say no. If it's a colleague, then they will have people to help them if they cannot help themselves. Yes, good people might be in need of support, and there is nothing wrong with doing favours for those in need. Just make sure you're doing them for the right people. Narcissistic people are all about taking advantage. 7, they will use you to break rules or ethical norms. Often they will do just enough for you, so when they ask you to do something that's not feeling right to you, you believe they are a good person. Then they ask with such conviction, you feel guilty or like you would be betraying them if you said no or didn't do it. They pull you in with that idealization, twist things into being your idea, so you do things that you wouldn't normally do, twist things into they're actually helping you out. They often make out in some way it's not for them, it's all about helping you, when in reality it's about helping them. And when you do these things for them, they will use them against you further down the line to either break another boundary of yours. So when you stand tall and say no, they can do that. After all I've done for you, to try and make you feel guilty or to intimidate you, as they believe they are entitled. They pull you in unwittingly as an enabler until you struggle to find a way to break free. Many narcissists believe they are above the law. They will take big or small advantages of those around them. They will abuse financial expenses, often using employees somehow to do so. They will falsify legal documents to meet needs of their own, or they will use them to gain extra financial resources by falsifying business earnings. Either by earning less or earning more, depending on their need at that time. How to disarm. There's no easy way out of these things. Make sure you safely have as much evidence as you can in case they come after you. Then make the choice to accept no more and leave the job, person or business. They might hit with smear campaigns. I'll add the link to the smear campaign video in the description. Just stay out of any smear campaign the best you can. Number 8, they will blame others for their own failures, as a narcissist cannot self-reflect on the errors of their ways and will not accept accountability in any form or responsibility unless it serves a purpose for them. Once served, they will switch the blame again. They are highly sensitive to any form of perceived criticism, negative feedback, or constructive criticism. It severely damages their already fragile ego. They will blame employees, they will triangulate employees, project onto those around them. You might witness anger or forms of the silent treatment. I shall add the link to the video in the description for more information on the different silent treatments. How to disarm. If it's a colleague, just stay clear of them and use the grey rock approach, which I'll add in the description. If it's a boss, the best advice is looking for a new job. 10, the negative emotions. Narcissists are full of negative emotions. They can and they will do all they can to pull others down and make them feel insecure. Be it a boss triangulating employees or a colleague playing people off against each other. They do all they can to manipulate and keep you off balance. They can criticise, judge, ridicule, often in subtle ways or in ways perceived to be helpful, yet are toxic. They like to make those around them feel inferior so that they feel dominant. How to disarm? Avoiding them is best. Observe their toxic words, don't absorb. Know your truths, retreat, rethink, and only respond if you need to do so. Don't let others' opinions of you define who you are. Trust those instincts of yours. If something doesn't feel right, it most often isn't. 11, tantrum or threaten. A narcissistic boss or colleague will threaten with all that they have. Anything they've manipulated you to do, they will use against you. They will threaten court proceedings if they feel they can. Again, this can be subtle. I could take you to court, the covert ways, or obvious, the overt ways. I will take you to court. Remember, most things you did at the time you did with good intentions. You believed them to be a good person and you did what you did because you thought it was right and because you thought you was helping them. Whether what you did was right or wrong, most often these predators do take advantage of other people's good nature. Most often, if they take you to court, you might be able to gather enough evidence to let them sink themselves. So if they are threatening, gather what evidence you can, emails, texts, bank transfers, dates. Keep them safe where they'll never be able to get to them and walk away. 12, the pity plays. When the boss wants you to work longer and longer with little to no extra pay, or will not give you a pay rise, they might have been most helpful to start, yet now there's no more help. And they'll say how they've got homes to run, children to feed, to try and make you feel guilty for saying no to them or asking for that pay rise. They will ask more and more and more from you to give you less and less back. Work colleagues can also ask for loans with pity plays of children's birthdays, etc. They'll not be able to get to work if you don't give them a lift, pulling on your empathy to break down your boundaries and give in to their demands. Now, there is good people that do need help and support, and that's fine, but if your instincts are telling you something's off about someone, it needs to be a no. How to disarm? Know your worth. If you're not contracted to work extra and you're not getting anything extra, say no, mean no, and stick to that no. If they're a colleague and you don't want to loan them money and they never loan you any money, say no. They will be gaslighting people with all that, I never said that, or if only you'd have done this correctly, or I never agreed to that. They are most often always looking for that get out of jail free card. Instincts. Always listen to your instincts. If something feels off about a person or things don't sit right with you, no matter who they are, those instincts are usually right and trying to warn you. Listen to them. Either avoid the people, avoid the places, change jobs. We often get ourselves caught up in a cycle through fear. We could be wrong or fear of change. Safely step through that fear, change that thing, and it can change everything for you. You can help other people who will either inspire you or drain you. If they drain you, it's time to walk away. You cannot change other people, especially those with a disorder. It's who they are. And unless they can recognise it and take action to change, they will continue the cycle with or without you. No one deserves to be abused. But people make choices, and no one deserves to be abused, but you have to make the choice to walk away for you. You did not cause it and you cannot change it. It's who they are. It's a tough enough job changing ourselves and our own life patterns. People can only ever change themselves. Yes, with helpful guidance and support, but manipulative people only ever do this on a temporary basis. We all make mistakes and errors and judgment, and that's part of life. That's life's lessons and how we learn. Yet mistakes repeated more than once is a decision, whether that's someone else's decision because they don't feel guilty, they don't feel empathy or remorse and see no need to change, or ours through fear or regret, or what if we are wrong about them. We should stand by and help them. Unfortunately, this isn't always the case. Good people, yes. Those who rattle your anxiety, your instincts, your inner peace. No, you need to walk away, set yourself free and create a much happier, more peaceful life for you. Please take a look in the descriptions for the other videos. Thank you very much for listening. Bye.